In the 1990s, Colombia, a land of breathtaking beauty and vibrant culture, was haunted by a shadow of fear. For years, a single man brought unimaginable terror to its streets and countryside, leaving behind a trail of horror and a mystery that chilled the nation to its core. His name was Luis Alfredo Garavito, but the world would come to know him as the Beast, the man many call the Satanic Serial Killer of Colombia. Luis Alfredo Garavito was born in 1957 in a small Colombian town. His childhood was not an easy one. He grew up in poverty, surrounded by violence and abuse. From a young age, he carried a deep, simmering anger and emotional pain. After dropping out of school, he drifted from one job to another, selling trinkets on the street, working in small shops, but never found a place to settle. To those he met, he could be charming, polite, and even friendly. But beneath that surface, a darkness was taking root. In the early 1990s, a disturbing trend began to emerge across Colombia. Children started disappearing. Most were boys between 8 and 16, often from poor, homeless, or struggling families. At first, authorities dismissed these cases, believing the children had simply run away. But then, people began discovering shallow graves, and a horrifying truth started to surface. The country slowly realized it wasn't losing its children by accident. Someone was taking them. This was the work of Luis Alfredo Garavito. He traveled from city to city, adopting different disguises. One day, he was a teacher, the next a monk, or a charity worker helping the poor. He used candy, toys, and small gifts to gain the trust of vulnerable children. He'd speak to them with kindness, promising food or money. Once a child followed him, they were never seen alive again. He later told investigators he felt controlled by something evil, as if a dark force had taken over his soul. He even called himself a servant of the devil, which is how the moniker the Satanic Serial Killer was born. As the years passed, a wave of fear gripped the nation. Every few weeks, reports of more missing children flooded the news. The police struggled to connect the cases. Garavito was clever. He constantly changed cities, used false names, and altered his appearance. For a long time, authorities didn't realize a single man was behind this horrifying spree. The breakthrough came when investigators noticed similar strange patterns at different crime scenes. Each site contained the same objects, pieces of rope, bottles, and bits of clothing marked with the same distinct style of cutting. It was finally clear. One person was responsible for it all. The investigation reached a turning point in 1997. Near the town of Pereira, a mass burial site was discovered. More than a dozen young boys had been buried close together. The scene sent shockwaves through the entire nation. Detectives began a massive effort to compare records from all over Colombia. They discovered that everywhere Garavito had traveled, children had vanished. Slowly but surely, his name started appearing in witness reports. But Garavito was always one step ahead, constantly moving, blending in, and evading capture. His reign of terror finally ended in 1999 because of one crucial mistake. A young boy managed to escape an attack and gave police a detailed description of the man. Short, wearing glasses, with a noticeable limp and a scar on his face. Using this description, police soon arrested a man who matched it perfectly. His name was Luis Alfredo Garavito. When they searched his bag, they found hundreds of photos of young boys, small pieces of children's clothing, and bizarre notebooks filled with names, numbers, and symbols. They had all the evidence they needed. At first, Garavito denied everything. But as the detectives continued their interrogation, his facade began to crumble. He eventually confessed to his crimes, calmly and without any apparent emotion. He admitted to harming more than 140 children. Later, investigators confirmed the number was likely much higher, possibly over 200 victims, making him one of the most prolific serial killers in modern history. He claimed he would often pray to dark spirits before leaving his home, believing that something satanic gave him the power to commit these atrocities. This chilling detail solidified his media nickname, the Satanic Serial Killer. Garavito's confession sent a shockwave of grief and anger across Colombia. During the trial, families clutched photos of their lost children, their cries echoing through the courtroom. The judge described it as the most terrible case in Colombia's history. Garavito was found guilty on multiple counts of murder and received a sentence of 1,153 years in prison, the longest ever handed down in the country. However, due to Colombian law, the maximum time anyone can serve is 40 years. The horrifying possibility that he could be released early for good behavior outraged and terrified the public. In prison, Garavito lived under constant protection. Fellow inmates sought revenge, forcing guards to move him frequently to keep him safe. Behind bars, he began to present himself as a changed man, claiming he had found God and deeply regretted his actions. But few believed his supposed transformation. To the world, and especially to the families of his victims, he would forever be the beast of Colombia, a man who had obliterated so many innocent lives. The story of Luis Alfredo Garavito remains one of the darkest chapters in modern criminal history. He wasn't driven by money or simple revenge, but by something far more disturbing and profound. His case forced Colombia to overhaul its criminal investigation systems and strengthen protections for its most vulnerable children. Even today, people debate how one man could commit such monstrous acts for so long without being caught. His story is a painful reminder that true evil can sometimes wear the kindest of masks. Garavito's actions left a scar on the heart of Colombia that will never fully heal. He may spend the rest of his life behind bars, but for the families who lost their children, no amount of justice can ever erase their pain. His story isn't just about one man's darkness. It's a stark warning about the duty of a community to protect the innocent and how awareness and vigilance can prevent future tragedies. Even now, the name Garavito sends a chill through Colombia, a name that will forever be linked with the title of the Satanic Serial Killer. Some monsters don't hide under the bed. They walk among us, smiling, pretending to be human. And sometimes they truly believe they are serving something much, much darker. Thank you for watching. If you found this story compelling, please consider subscribing to our channel for more true crime documentaries from around the world. Stay safe, and we'll see you in the next one.